All right, welcome to the next lesson of the Strumming Doctor, where we're going to address the all-important timing. Now, you can be the best guitar player in the world, and if your timing is really bad, then none of that means anything. And the goal here isn't going to be to develop perfect timing. It's going to be to get control over your timing. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. But first, if you haven't gone and created your complimentary account on guitarfam.com, make sure to go ahead and do that. You can go through the first module of the Strumming Doctor there, and you'll also get access to the practice sessions that go along with each lesson too. Also, if you have any questions about anything as you're going through these, just email support@guitarfam.com. You can even go to the website and schedule a personal private one-on-one lesson with me. The first one is complimentary, where we can address any issues that are afflicting you specifically. So before we get into this, let me just take some time to encourage you. Everyone has timing issues or timing things that they need to work on to some degree. So if you feel like your timing is just bad, don't worry, we can get it up to par and fix it throughout the rest of this course. Now, one big tip that I have for you here is to video yourself. Again, I said that in the last lesson. Same thing applies here. You may think your timing is really good and on, but if you video yourself, you're going to watch it back. And if you're anything like me or a lot of other students that have, you're going to be like, man, that's not anywhere near where I thought it was. So video yourself as you go through this lesson and the practice session for this lesson, and see if your timing is really as good as you think it is, because this is really ground zero for being able to play in time and being able to strum in time. And before we even get into strumming with this is so important that I would really recommend tapping on your guitar or your leg or something like that before you even dig into strumming, because again, one of the same themes throughout this course is to break down the challenges and separate them. And timing, if you tap, you don't have to think about strumming technique at all. You can just focus on where exactly is that beat falling. And I have in my hot little hand my phone with my metronome app. It's just Tempo. It's an app called Tempo. I love it. It's free. You can use anything you like. But we're going to start at 70 beats per minute. That's kind of a nice neutral, generic starting point. And I have some tips for you as far as staying in time and being as right square in the middle of the beat as possible. Not a little bit behind it, not a little bit before, but right on it. The first tip I have for you is to move some other part of your body, like your head to the beat or your foot, tap your foot. I end up doing both of those when I when I'm playing, recording, working on my timing, tapping, either one. And the purpose of that is to create an awareness in you of the beat, of timing. And that's really the goal of this entire course as far as the timing things we're going to talk about, is to create an awareness of the beat and of your timing. Not to have perfect timing, but just to get control over it. Because here's the reason why I say the goal isn't to have perfect timing, is to get control over it. Playing with a metronome is like shooting at a target that's not moving. It's at the same spot every time. It's predictable, right? Playing with a band is not like that at all. It ebbs and flows, and you have to kind of match what's going on. It's like shooting at a moving target. So again, the goal here is to get control over your timing so you can adapt to whatever situation you're in. But the first step here, get a metronome, set it to 70 beats per minute, and all I'm going to do is tap on my guitar, right? But as soon as I do that, my head is automatically nodding, so I'm aware. I create another secondary awareness, a physical awareness of where that beat is. My left foot is tapping too, so. And if you notice, like, I didn't even start to have that metronome going, but my head was still going at 70 beats per minute, just because I've done so much work with the metronome that I can kind of feel that. And once I hear it, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So just tap along with me. Pay attention. Is that tap falling like in front of the beat, like that? That's in front, or is it coming behind the beat? Like something like that. You want it square in the middle. And nodding my head and tapping my foot really helps me stay aware where the beat is. And it helps me hear, like, am I a little bit ahead of the beat on that last click, on that last tap? Am I a little bit behind? Do I need to adjust? And just creating an awareness of where that beat is all the time. And then, just tapping it first instead of doing the strumming will really help you. 2 and 3, hold, and 1. So that's going to be the first thing that you want to do, and video yourself doing this to see where are your taps lining up with a click or not? Are you consistently behind, or late? Or are you consistently ahead and rushing? And generally, most people will lean toward one or the other, but the goal here is going to be to get to tap where you can tap right on the beat most of the time. And it's important to kind of vary the beat too. So we just did 70, let's do 80 now. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it may take you a while to sink in to that new tempo, and that's okay. Nodding your head, tapping your foot will help with that. It may take you a while. You may be like, oh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? And then you sink in finally. 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so do that for a few minutes and then go on to 90 beats per minute. And this is, you don't have to do, I generally do from like 50 to 120, but for right now when we're just starting out, just 70, 80, and 90 works really good. So here's 90. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Where is that beat? Are you ahead? Are you right on it? Are you a little behind? And I will say this, the slower you get, the harder this gets. So if I go down to like 60, it's like there are fewer mile markers between the clicks, or the mile markers are farther apart. So it's really, it gets more challenging to make it right on. And that becomes even more important to be aware of that beat by moving other part of your body. And we'll get into this more when we talk about eighth notes, but in my head, I'm subdividing the beat. And so instead of just hearing 2, 3, 4, I'm hearing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And that gives me more mile markers, so it makes it easier to stay in time. We'll talk more about that later, but that's just a tip that might help you if you're a little more advanced and going through this lesson. 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And one thing that I would I don't want to say discourage you from doing, but I would warn you about doing is don't rely on looking at the metronome to stay in time. As a matter of fact, I would take this, once I have it started, I'll take it and turn it face down so I'm not tempted to look at it. You want to go by your ear so you can really internalize how that beat feels. Okay, now that we've done that with just some tapping, let's go back up to 70 beats per minute and do some strumming, exact same thing. So you want to move one part of your body, think about your strumming technique. We're going slow enough to where you can really kind of concentrate on your strumming technique still. If you don't have it programmed in perfectly already, you should have it down pretty good by now by this point if you're on this lesson. But think about your strumming technique and then really concentrate on hitting the middle part of that note, 70 beats per minute. And 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. All downstrokes on quarter notes, all right, on the beat. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4. Mute the string so you don't have to worry about making a chord. 1, 2. Now here I'm going to rush a little bit. That's what that sounds like. You want to pull back right on the middle. Now I'm going to drag a little bit. That's what that sounds like. You want to get it right back in the middle. And if you waver a little bit here and there, that's okay. Just try to stay aware of where that beat is and get the train back on the tracks. And as you do this, you're going to be working on this for 5 to 7 minutes in the next practice session. So this is really good kind of telltale. If your strumming technique is good, if your pick is moving around, adjust it. If you're playing 5 to 7 minutes like this with just downstrokes, are you starting to stiffen up and grip the pick, death grip the pick? If so, relax. Okay, let's go up to 80 beats per minute. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go up to 90, and we'll do a more concise version of this practice session in the practice session in the next lesson, in the next video. So we go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just downstrokes. Be aware of how much you're relaxing in your strumming technique. And now if I rushed, it would sound something like that. Back to normal in the middle. If I drag, and then back to normal. Just adjust as you go. The main thing you're shooting for here in the early stages of this is just the ability to hear and internalize the beat and adjust as you go if you get off. Okay, again, the goal here is to get control over your timing, not to have perfect, metronomic timing. Sometimes you need that when you're recording, but sometimes you need the ability to speed up or slow down to keep up or adjust to the band you're playing with, like I said. And this may seem very simple, but this is ground zero. If you can't do this, it's going to be very hard for you to do, strumming patterns like... It's going to be very hard to do that in time with a metronome or with a band for that matter. So this is very important. Do the tapping and then do the strumming. And if you have any questions, email us support@guitarfam.com. If you're watching this on YouTube or some other platform that's not the website, go to guitarfam.com, create your complimentary account so you can join us in the next video. We're going to go through a practice session for this. See you there.